Alright, I want to do a follow-up to yesterday's video because I want to address a couple points, two very good points actually, that have been brought up by a number of you regarding this whole Donald Sterling and the racist comments that was recorded by his girlfriend, and a number of people keep bringing up this whole notion of freedom of speech, and you know, he may be a racist scumbag, but that's his right to choose to be that way. Thank you, new dog. And I agree with that. He can be whatever he wants. You can be a sexist pig fuck who thinks women don't have the right to vote or work. You can be a racist scumbag that thinks blacks and Hispanics and everyone else is inferior to you and your people on this planet. And my whole thing is, you should keep something like that to yourself, because the majority of us that don't think that way don't really care to hear about that. But then again, if the KKK wants to, you know, have a march in your town square, they have the right to assemble as well. There's a number of free speech beliefs that I believe in myself, so, I mean, I could turn on my camera and tell you anything the fuck I want to here, as long as it doesn't break any established rules and doesn't threaten the lives of people, etc., etc. So, I'm with all of you there. My whole, and I think people kind of like, you know, got the vibe in my previous video. That's why I want to clarify that, like, oh, I'm against, like, you know, he should be, like, you know, some way formally arrested for what he did, and, like, you know, thinking that, like, I thought what he did broke the law. No, it's more that I'm disappointed in society from the stance of, if this was some years ago, society would stand up to this and vehemently voice their opinion, and the people involved working under this guy would do a much better job in voicing their opinion. That's why I said the Golden State Warriors and the LA Clippers should have just not played. Because in this situation, the players have the power. Without them, the teams don't exist, the league doesn't exist, there's nothing for us to watch on TV if we're basketball fans that want to watch the playoffs right now. And that's the whole thing. If they wanted action to be taken course on this guy, and another point that got mixed up is people said, like, you know, oh, well, you know, I want them all have the right to play, but then I said the two teams should have boycotted playing. I wanted them to boycott to force action, not boycott and just flat out quit their season and throw it away and say, like, we're not playing the rest of the year. No, just quit till they got action to take course. And, you know, I feel like if this was like back in the civil rights era and there was an owner that was this overtly racist against a team of majority black players, they would have been like, well, fuck this guy, we're just not going to play for your racist pig ass. But it's just like, you know, you see today, you see the Clippers turn their jerseys inside out. You see their coach Doc Rivers interviewed afterwards saying, like, you know, I didn't like the fact that my players did that. And it's like, no one has a motive to go on and, like, you know, further their cause, to stand up for what is right in their hearts. Because as a black person, there's no fucking way they can appreciate their boss, their owner, having just thinking that you just attract vermin wherever you're at, saying that years ago, and working for this guy now. So, I don't know. I just see it as just like, you know, a pussified movement of everyone just saying, well, you know, I just really just want my paycheck. And it, like I said in my previous video, if that's what they want, then so be it. If they're going to sell out like that, if you see it as selling out for just money and not standing up for what they believe in their hearts and minds, if the money is just that fucking good, too good to turn down and take a chance of risking of losing, then alright, whatever. I understand that. And, you know, money can be addictive, and when you get that much, it's beyond addictive. Bless you, girl fiend! The whole other side of this, and a number of people keep bringing up, is the whole, well, this was none of our business. This was a private conversation that was recorded. This girlfriend of Donald Sterling set this guy up. And I agree. It was an obvious setup job. And don't think for a second, Oh, my little mink shawl is back. Don't think for a second that I think that, you know, what she did was absolutely the right thing to do. This was a fucking setup job, and frankly, she violated wiretapping laws. Remember when I talked about that a couple weeks ago, about that kid that recorded his bully in school and took it to the principal? This lady, if Donald Sterling wants to push the issue, which frankly I don't see why he would, and I'll get to that in a second, if he wants to push the issue, he can have this bitch arrested for wiretapping law. As far as the wiretapping laws go in California, she can't record someone like that without their knowledge and use it for defamatory purposes, which is what she did by selling it to TMZ. However, if Donald Sterling takes her to court over this, it is an admission of guilt of him being in that video, him being in that recording. It's basically his way of saying, yeah, I was taped, you know, and everything that was said on that tape was me, and it was sent to be a defame job, and that's what she did. So it's kind of like a tricky spot where, you know, he can't really take her to court over this, because if he does, he's admitting that that's him. And frankly, I just want to say for the record that, you know, I am not exactly on her side as far as this goes. Now, it exposed a very blatant, overt racist. But the thing is, we didn't really need these tapes to prove that. There was a number of instances that I proved, like that instance where he wouldn't allow black tenants in the apartment facility he had in Beverly Hills. For those of you who don't know, Donald Sterling is almost a multi-billionaire. He's got $1.9 billion, most of which he made that money from in real estate investments. He buys and builds housing facilities and stuff like that. Before that, he was an ambulance-chasing personal injury lawyer, so real nice guy. Anyway, I'm sorry, lawyers. So, yeah, he got set up from this, and I find it, one final note I want to make on this is, I find it so interesting that everyone now is saying, like, well, this is none of our business. This recording is so damning to him, but frankly, it's none of our business. Where were all you people at? And I don't remember hearing anyone speaking up when Mel Gibson's then wife released the phone recordings of Mel Gibson acting like a complete fucking lunatic for her and doing just outrageous things, speaking to her in such a demeaning, defaming fashion. Where was everyone saying, oh, these Mel Gibson phone calls are none of our business. It's none of our business how he talks to his wife on the phone. Where were you guys? Why is this instance so much different now? That's the thing, I don't get it. Like, everyone was just like laughing and mocking Mel Gibson for being insane and whatever, but he was fucking wiretapped, and those tapes were released in the same fashion that this girl is releasing against Donald Sterling. I don't know, I just see society being very hypocritical here, in that they're willing to accept the actor that's going insane speaking down to his wife, but the rich-ass 80-year-old feeble white man who's the racist fuck, it's just like, oh, that's none of our business. Why? Why? I mean, why is it different? Anyway, just wanted to make a follow-up video to yesterday. New dog wanted to say hello again, but he's distracted by a dog walking around outside right now, so he's not being cute. New dog! Come here, Bubby! I got Spyro! Look, we got him a dragon that looks kind of like Spyro from the PlayStation game, except he ate his ears and sucked his brain out. Ate his ears right off. Good job, new dog. Release! Come on, you want Spyro? Go get him. Anyway, so yeah, just wanted to clarify from yesterday that, you know, Donald Sterling's girlfriend, it's even sickening to still call her that. I mean, she's obviously, and I even like hinted to that, she's obviously not really that straight head of a person to just be milking off an 81-year-old man for his money. I mean, let's be realistic and calling her what she is. She's not exactly some saint here that's bringing, you know, should just be known as someone bringing public awareness to an overt racist. Yeah, she's just basically a leech to life, and she doesn't exactly deserve a pat on the back. And by me saying that, I want you to think that I'm giving, like, you know, Donald Sterling a pass in any way, shape, or form for what he did. what he said and what he specifically did in the past. And the fact that the league even allowed him to continue being an owner and didn't take any sort of action when he was doing stuff to break the literal laws in this country, like racial profiling in that Beverly Hills bill. I'll put that same screen cap I put up on yesterday so you see that he actually broke physical laws, was taken to court by the Justice Department of the United States, fined heavily, and how the league let something like this happen and didn't take action, your guess is beyond me, but they let their owners get away with murder. And I guess that's the final point I want to make on this is if Donald Sterling isn't punished in any way, shape, or form than this sets the precedent of if the players did anything remotely to this level off the court, they would get suspended immediately because there is a player code of conduct that regulates actions they take on and off the court. It's part of their collective bargaining agreement, and they would be suspended immediately. I think it's ridiculous to have rules that would be enforced for off-field conduct for the players, but for the high-up management, it's just like, we'll take our time, and who knows what, they're gonna have a press conference today, the NBA, and who knows if they're going to take any action, because as of right now, there has never been an NBA owner suspended in the history of the NBA. That's kind of startling that no one has done anything to mess up. And in other sports like Marge Schott in baseball, George Steinbrenner in baseball as well, both of them got suspended. Marge Schott permanently, George Steinbrenner temporarily. But anyways, it happens in other sports. But in basketball, no one's apparently broke the rules of conduct. So anyways, that's it. That's everything. Thank you for listening to another 10 or so minute diatribe from me. Have a good day. New dog! Thank you. Have a good day, guys.